Welcome to MangaPod. This is a weekly broadcast in which we read all or part of a manga and then discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. I'm Dodger, and I'm kind of hosting today, but Erin is here. She's just in a place with very strange internet. So
what?
Our lovely Erin is here, but I'm gonna take the hosting position. So yeah, I'm Dodger, and with me are two of our awesome hosts. Kyoko is gone, boo, as well as a beautiful, wonderful special guest. So yeah, Erin, go for it.
I am Erin of Happily Erin. Usually my face is in the box, but like Dodger said, I have some internet issues here in Nebraska, and we tried to show my face, but it didn't work very well. It was pixels. Everyone else was robots. It just didn't work out very well.
It's just that the internet couldn't handle the awesomeness.
Yeah, they couldn't handle it.
Yeah, it couldn't handle it. I think I did a speed test earlier, and it was 1.5 up, 5 down, 0.5 down. Is just not. It might be the other way.
Yeah, that screen cap that you showed us, I was like, oh my god, that is such low internet.
That's like 1995 internet.
There's
dial up.
You could immediately make your internet 61% better. Would you like to do this? And I was like, oh no. But yeah, good old Nebraska. It's great to be home. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Yay!
Yay!
It was delayed, and it was cool. My name's Lou, and I'm from Lou Talks Anime, and yeah, I'm happy to be talking shoujos. The shoujos are awesome.
Yee.
Woo woo.
And Sachie.
Hey guys, I'm Sachie. I'm also a YouTuber. I do videos on anime recommendations. I also cosplay. So I'm really excited to talk about today's series because I used to read it in Shoujo Beat magazine.
Yes.
So it's very nostalgic for me.
That's amazing.
Oh, I haven't read it in I don't even know how many years, but I was going through the old anime art style, and it just ton of feels, man.
Yeah, the eyes specifically, the eyes and the hair. I was like, oh man, this is some old style eyes and hair. I love it. Yeah, when was Skip Beat made? When did it start?
I remember reading it in high school, I think.
2002.
2002.
Yeah, that's when it started.
I thought that it started earlier than that.
Yeah.
Unless Mal is lying to me, it's 2002.
Interesting. Well, what we like to do on this show is we have a spoiler-free section and we have a spoiler section. So right now, you're safe. You're in the spoiler-free section. What we're going to do is we're going to have our... We're going to have our lovely Sachie read you a spoiler-free description of what we read. And then we're all going to go one at a time and tell you whether or not we think you should take the time to read this manga, give you sort of a recommendation, and then we'll give you a very obvious, spoiler section is starting, and then we'll hop into, a really, really in-depth discussion on what we read. All right? Cool. So, Sachie, go for it.
Okay, so the spoiler-free synopsis. So the main character is called Kyoko, and Kyoko Mogami followed her true love Sho to Tokyo to support him while he made it as a big idol. But he's casting her out now that he's famous enough. Kyoko won't suffer in silence. She's going to get her sweet revenge by beating Sho in show business.
Oh, the fun.
Kyoko's broken heart and creepy rage keeps her from getting into the talent agency, of course. The eccentric president of the agency decides to give her a second chance, but it requires her to wear a bright pink uniform, put up with spoiled stars, and try to live up to the name of her new position, the Love Me section. Can Kyoko stand the indignity long enough to find her vengeance? Dun dun dun!
Revenge! I was trying to describe this manga to Sam, and he was like, that sounds awesome. Because it just sounds so just like, yeah, this girl gets really dicked over, and then she decides to dedicate her entire life to revenge on him. He's like, all right, cool, great.
I like how they describe it as creepy rage, which,
that's
makes sense.
Yeah, that's very apt.
Yeah, when we read the spoiler-free description for it last week, and they said creepy rage, I was like, that sounds weird. And then after reading the manga, I'm like, oh, but it makes so much sense.
It makes so much sense, yeah. Cool. Who wants to go first on a spoiler-free recommendation?
I can go first.
Okay.
I highly recommend this if you guys like shoujo specifically, but also, I don't know, I found it to be one of the strongest shoujo that I've read in a really long time. I thought it was really funny and the characters were really, really engaging and hilarious. But at the same time, it has a lot of heavier themes going on beneath it. And so if you're looking for something that has a lot of substance while also being really light and fluffy at the same time, it's one that you should definitely check out. I think it's a really good shoujo and I really want to read more of it. I just found myself just like breezing through all of the chapters because I was just so engaged in the story of all of them.
Awesome.
So yeah, I definitely recommend it.
I want to go
weird
next.
being on audio. I just like.
Yeah, you could do whatever you want. We have no idea what's going on over there.
I know. I feel like I'm just making weirder noises because I'm not visual. So I'm just like, I want them to know I'm still here. So I'm going to make really dumb noises, but I don't mean to. Just come down.
You could just breathe really heavily. Oh.
There it is. Yep, good, yep.
Yep. A+.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh, Lou, you wanted to go next?
Yeah. I also highly recommend it, though. I recommend watching the anime more so than reading the manga, just because I guess the voice actors really did a lot to bring out the character, particularly Kyoko's character. Like, she really sounded like she wanted to really just destroy Sho. And it was just, I don't know, I really enjoyed her performance. But yeah, as for the manga, I really enjoyed it. So I also highly recommend it.
I can go next. Okay, this is gonna sound like I'm saying I didn't like the fish because it tasted too fishy, but I thought like the only problem that I had with Skip Beat is that overall there are lots of things that are gonna happen in this manga where you're like, that is extremely far-fetched, right? But all of the characters in it are so great. Like, Kyoko is my favorite female protag that I've read in a while. I think she's just so great and so dynamic. And I think all of the characters who wind up getting involved in her life are also very dynamic in a really cool way. So, yeah, even though things are constantly happening where I'm like, that would never happen, I'm still really enjoying the ride because it causes so many situations where like these really cool characters are forced to interact in different ways. And yeah, I love it. It's fantastic.
I would also recommend Skip Beat, and I think a lot of people agree with that because I think the manga's at like 200 chapters or something, so I feel like it's a series that you can easily get hooked on, and Kyoko's she's a very passionate character, and she's filled with determination. So you really, I found with myself, even just 18 chapters in, I still want to find out what's going to happen. And some of the scenarios are so ridiculous, but they're ridiculous in a comedic way where you want to just continue with it and see how the characters grow. So I think it's and I agree with what people were saying before. She's a very strong shoujo protagonist, and I find in a lot of shoujo series, when you have a girl that's following like a pretty boy, she's just there to support his dreams, and if he's happy, then she's happy. But this is like the opposite. She's like, I will destroy you.
Yeah, I loved that it started off that way too. So yeah, but we can go into that more in the spoiler section. So yeah, we all recommend it. We all think that you should check it out if you like shoujo, or if you've tried a lot of shoujo and you're like, I don't know. It's not typically my thing. This one might be right up your alley.
When you said that, you became robot for me, so it was like
Good.
Go on.
But yeah, we're now going to go into the spoiler section. As a reminder, do not spoil anything that happens after what we read. We did change around the chapters a little bit because there was some confusion. So anything after chapter 18, do not talk about in chat. Do not spoil for other people. Let's keep this a safe chapter 1 through 18 zone for everyone. All right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to give you a countdown. This is your chance to take your leave. If you would like to come back and watch this episode later after you've read the manga, you can at youtube.com/happily-erin, where all of the other MangaPods live. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Lori is God.
No.
President of LME.
He is pretty great. I love that he just wears like random costumes all the time.
Oh my god.
That's why he is
so
God.
Funny.
Oh, he's great. He's so good.
But yes, Kyoko
He
is also
wears
God.
I like the part where he was on a camel.
That was really weird. I was like, is this, are they shooting a show? Is he making like an appearance on a show? No, he's just casually riding a camel through.
And they don't even really acknowledge it. Like,
yeah.
it's just
Everybody's
there.
just like, this is normal.
Yeah,
This
he's
is
so
totally
crazy.
normal.
They're like, he's doing it. He's doing the thing again.
Yeah, the thing. All right, so normally we start off with what were your expectations when you started reading this manga? So would anybody like to go first? I know that Lou, you've watched the anime, you said, and Sachie's read the manga before. Aaron, have you read the manga before or watched the anime?
No, I've just I've had it recommended to me and I've been aware of it ever since the manga first started and also the anime. So I've been aware of it. It's been on my radar, but I've never actually taken the time to read or watch it. And now I'm really sad that I didn't before because I really, really enjoyed it. And so I went into it having it been recommended to me a lot. And so I had my expectations pretty high, but I never really knew what the story was about. And so getting to learn the story as I went made it even more enjoyable to me, I think.
Yeah. I don't think so I've said this before and everybody's gotten mock offended at me or really offended at me. Almost every time we read the description for the manga that we're going to be reading for the next week, it just doesn't stick because I started reading Skip Beat and was like, I don't know what this is about at all. I have no idea anything that was read in the description for it. So yeah, for me too, it was like, oh, yeah, okay. She's a cute girl just doing her thing. And then, oh, okay, she's living with the pop star. Oh, interesting. And then I was like, oh, he's an asshole. Oh my god. I felt so many emotions rapidly in that first chapter. So
that was a real turnaround though, because she came off as being such a demure, supportive friend, and then he was just an ass to her, and then she's like, do you know what, I'm just gonna change my hairstyle, I'm gonna get into the industry where you're famous and I'm gonna take you down. And I remember being like, oh, I've read this a long time ago. Oh, okay, that's what happens. It's all flooding back to me.
I was really confused because she had black hair at the beginning, and so I was like, but all the cover photos are her with short hair and blonde.
Short
and
blonde hair, yeah.
Wait, who is this girl? At the beginning, I was like, I don't know. What, am I reading the right story? I was really confused. And then she quickly changed, and I was like, oh, okay. It makes so much more sense now.
Yeah. It, when, by the time we got into the later chapters, I was like, man, she's changed a lot as a character. But at the same time, I'm kind of or was it just that she was so infatuated with Sho that all of that really determined quality of hers was being completely pushed into working to try to make his dreams come true, and once that was taken away from her, it was oh, okay, I know where to put all of this energy now.
Yeah, because wasn't it like the first or second chapter, I think. She's clearly like locked it away inside of her to focus on show because it has all those images of like the locked boxes where all her emotions are hiding, and then suddenly like all the locks and chains start like flying off and demons start coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like, speaking of Kyoko's character arc, I like that it's starting like in the latter chapters that we read, it's starting to make a shift where you're starting to see the seeds planted of her developing an interest in acting more so for her sake, like moving it away from just show, like in other words wanting to compete with Ren, for example. Like it's not just about revenge now, it's just gradually turning into something else where revenge still matters, but it's not the only thing that matters.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. The first time that she was like, I never want to be in a situation where I feel like he's like in an acting situation with him where I feel like he's the one in power again, right? Like she got really inspired to become a better actress so that she could be his peer, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and like along those same lines, something that while I was reading it, I kind of kept forgetting that I was reading something technically that was a shoujo. Because like usually in shoujo, it's so heavily about this girl loves this guy and there's all of this conflict and la da da. Whereas this, it's like not really about that. We're watching the relationships develop and change, like between her and Sho and then her and Ren. And so it's like, okay, you kind of have an idea where love interest is going, but the like manga doesn't focus on that. So you kind of, it's just you're so focused on her and her development that I kind of forgot. I was like, that there were really supposed to be romantic elements in it, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
I like how much they set up Sho to be like a complete asshole because there's that one scene where he's just like sitting and Ren's walking and then he gets like really fired up. He's like, "Oh, my enemy's coming!" And what he like kicks over something, and
It's
then
like a garbage can or something.
Yeah.
I think it was an ashtray, right? Like an upright ashtray.
yeah, and I remember he said something like,
Yeah.
"Oh, my long leg or my legs are too long," and then he's like, "Oh, well, your dumb legs like just can't control themselves." And I was like, "Oh, that's so smooth."
Yeah, and then he like kicks it back upright and just keeps walking. I was like, so good.
Oh my god. I love how like Sho is just obviously such an immature little teenager
Yeah.
who is just there to like, I don't know, like he wants to make his dick look bigger. He's just like this little dude. And Ren is just so suave. He's like, yeah, I don't have time to deal with little children who are trying to make themselves appear bigger. I really like that.
The moment where I started to think that Sho was a real asshole, more so than that instance with Ren, was the scene at the gas station where he just couldn't recognize Kyoko. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
considering that
was
he's
so shitty.
he's known her his entire life, spent like they were childhood friends, regardless of whatever the circumstances were around it, and he couldn't recognize her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that made me.
I thought that maybe he was faking it. Like he was just trying to make her feel like inferior, like you don't even matter to me anymore. But then he literally like was going, yeah, I just don't know who that is.
She
I was
looks
like, what
familiar.
the shit? Yeah. Like, really?
It made me so like. There's a part of me that's like, maybe he's just pretending he doesn't. He really is pretending, but he's just such a jerk.
And I'm kind of glad because, like, I love that it's not that, you know, he's like a guy who acts mean but really loves her deep down and all this stuff. Like, he's actually just a terrible person.
He's just really self-obsessed. Because, like, you can tell he's the type of guy that was just really good looking and he was constantly told that he was really good looking. And I think at the beginning, like, would his parents own the inn?
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, I shouldn't have to do this because my parents are rich and they own this inn. And Kyoko, you have to cook for me and do all that stuff. So it's sad. But I guess that makes it so much more satisfying when you see Kyoko, like, progressing as a character. You're like, yes, you're doing it.
Keep going.
So along with everything else that I didn't know was going to happen because I'm a dummy and didn't listen to the description, I did not know. I did not know about the like Love Me group, and when that got set up, because at first I was going, wait, okay, if she gets accepted into LME, what is she gonna do? Like chop vegetables? like I was like, she doesn't want to sing, she doesn't want to act. Like what is she possibly gonna do at this place? I don't know where this is going. And I thought that this was like kind of a weird, interesting place to go, where they're like, you definitely have some talent and you're really determined, and we don't want to lose that in case it could blossom into something, but we have no idea what to do with you, so here, put on this pink jumpsuit and like do
and take gum
for
off
people.
the ground. Yeah.
Oh, that whole scene when she like, got the gum off the ground and then was wiping and was like, oh, I'll just wipe the whole floor, and then was like, oh, I'll just polish the whole floor, and everybody started tripping.
Everyone just started.
I felt so bad for her.
They're like, it's the cursed hallway because one person had to go to hospital after walking down there. And they're like, you only get 10 points because you did a terrible job. And she's like, I just spent my entire day waxing this floor.
I felt so bad for her. I was like, you poor thing.
And it's funny because sometimes I think the differentiation that they're trying to make to her also is lost on me sometimes. Like when she's like, aw, man, next time, I'll make sure that I stay out of everybody's way but still do a good job. And I'm like, yeah, good idea. And then in a little text, it's like she still doesn't get the point. And I'm like, oh no, I don't get the point either. I'm also missing the point.
You're not alone. You're not alone in that.
Yeah.
Me too.
Where, just her learning how to, like, I don't know, be open to caring about people, I guess, is supposed to be the lesson, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because she's so, like, shut off from love. Like, Sho was that last little string of attachment that she had to people, and then when he turned out to be just completely using her and a huge spoiled brat asshole, then it just kind of shattered. And so now she really has that part of her that's just completely closed off to other people and caring for other people. Whereas if you're famous and want people to, like, adore you, you have to really have that genuine part of you that people can kind of grasp onto.
Yeah, there have been multiple times in this manga where I'm like, oh, come on, guys, you gotta acknowledge, like, she's got passion, right? Like the whole scene with the phone, when she was, like, reacting to the person on the phone and just, like, fucking broke it. I was like,
was
yes!
so badass.
It was so awesome. And then everybody was like, you don't understand. You need to be, open to
so
love.
fun.
And I was like, no, she did something different. Like, she reacted in a completely different way. I was like, man, I would have been like, yeah.
You go, girl.
You go.
Don't
That's
take
some,
it back.
That's some passion there. Yeah.
At least
I was like,
the
if she
president was like crying, though.
Yeah.
Because he had very emotional reactions.
That part, I was like, if she was a YouTuber, I would immediately subscribe to her.
Oh, man.
That's the least you could do with her breaking that phone.
Right?
So good.
You can tell it's from
I
the
did
early
love when the
2000s,
president.
because it was a flip phone.
How did you guys feel?
No, I was going to say, speaking of the president, did you guys read the author's notes where she was like apologizing for continuing to add middle-aged man characters? Like, I promise this is the last one. Because
really
apparently
funny.
that's something that she did a lot in her previous work.
Oh, that's
Add a lot of middle-aged men.
Yeah.
I guess there were a lot of middle-aged
so
men
funny.
in this one.
She's like, I know you want pretty boys. I'm sorry. I just keep adding all of these middle-aged men characters.
Yeah.
No, okay, when I first started Skippy, when he first appeared, the initial age I thought of was like, okay, he's like 40s maybe. And then you find out he's like a grandfather.
Yeah.
He's got, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, same for me. It's so funny. How did you guys feel about the whole story arc with the other actress and all that?
Wait, which other actress? Pale Girl?
Pale Girl.
Pale Girl? I hated Pale Girl so much.
Yeah.
She was just so spoiled, and I couldn't tolerate that. Just like every chapter, I was like, please grow as a character. Like, just stop being the spoiled little brat.
And she did. Like, it's interesting because she did, out of a competitive aspect to her personality rather than actually wanting to do well. Which, I mean, it could, could lead to her being a good actress. But I thought that was an interesting way to go about it. Like, that she watched this other woman, be so dedicated to trying to get this role that she was like, oh, I need to step it up and take this seriously, right? I thought that was kind of cool, like a different way to do that.
There's so many characters in this series that just need to be kicked off their high horse. Because, like, so many characters I found within the first 18 chapters come in going, like, I'm the best actress, and you're, like, a lowly piece of scum off the streets, and you don't know how to act, and then she comes in and is just like, oh, wait, I have life experience that, like, totally applies to the situation. Here, let me sit professionally and make, like, tea, and, like, act so much better than you.
But speaking of that tea ceremony, I thought it was just really cool that she was doing it with basically a broken foot or a broken ankle.
Dude.
That's just...
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
She's a badass. I mean, she was already a badass, but after that chapter, I was like, girl.
She's so cool.
Yeah, she goes ham.
That she fainted at the end.
Yeah, she was like all sweaty, and they were like, "Ren, get off the scene," so she thinks she's done.
I know. Yeah, she was like rapidly getting a fever, and they were like, what do we do?
Oh no. I really liked how when that actress was first introduced, Kyoko was completely convinced that she was allergic to sun. And was like, oh no, I need to protect you at all costs.
I saw it coming that she was going to be like, no, I just don't want to get tan because I have beautiful pale skin. But like, yeah, that whole, oh man, yeah, when she finally got up there and had her phone out, I was like, oh, she's actually going to call for help. And then she just didn't. And I was like, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
You're worst.
I was like, you horrible person.
Yeah. So I'm glad that we got to see her grow a bit. And I thought it was so cute that, like, the whole manga up until that point, Kyoko had been like, I just want makeup. I just want makeup so bad.
I know.
And then a professional makeup artist did her makeup, and she was so happy. Like,
and then at the end,
clothes
when she
done.
didn't want to take it off, she's like, just let it fade on its own. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I totally know that feeling.
Yeah, it was so cute.
It's like, if you have a good hair day or a good makeup day, and then you have to, like, go to bed or wash it off.
Yeah, and
it's
you're like,
just
what
so
if I just,
sad.
what if I sleep and don't roll around? Then I'll wake up in the morning and the makeup will still look good, right?
I'll be flawless.
Right?
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite parts in that scene was the famous shoujo like princess lift where she hurts her leg and then Ren is just like, here, I'll take you back.
Yeah.
I think that was like the classic like shoujo moment where you're like, oh, sparkle, sparkle.
Yeah. And she's like,
roses, flower petals.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a piggyback ride, and I was disappointed.
I mean, she gave Pale Girl a piggyback ride, to be fair.
I know, I shipped it immediately.
The sarcasm is real. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I read a little bit further because, again, the chapter confusion. So I'm trying to remember what else happened.
There's the improv scene with the little girl.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say the improv. Oh my god, my
that was
heart,
good too.
my heart and my feels and all of my things. Oh god, just melted everywhere. So good. I really like when that started. I was trying to figure out what she was going to do and how she was gonna pull it off, and then the way it played out, like I just wasn't thinking that it was gonna work that way. And so when they did it, I was really impressed with the writing at that point and how that whole scene played out.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. I was like, has she ever done improv before? Like, am I going to have to suspend my disbelief a lot? But just like, just swapping the lines or like turning the lines negative was really smart. That whole thing was really smart, I thought.
Yeah.
See, I don't know how much I believe her memorizing that many lines in such a short amount of time.
That
was
that.
the one thing.
That was one thing where I was like, wait, did she already know this script? Was she given this script before?
Yeah,
I don't think that was
something.
explained very well.
That was where my suspension of disbelief for that scene kind of went. I was like, oh, she memorized that quickly.
Yeah.
It's like, she just wouldn't have looked as pretty holding the script in her hand the whole time. You
I
wouldn't have
guess
gotten
so.
those eyes and those facial expressions.
But like, yeah, it does sort of since the other girl, the other wait, that happened, right? That's happened at this point, right? The other girl in Love Me.
Yeah, she's in it.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because she was there. She
Yeah,
was
the other
there
Love
during
Me
that
girl.
whole
Okay,
scene. Yeah.
good. I was like, oh no.
I like how you were like, that happened.
Did that
right?
happen, guys? Oh no.
So vague.
Yeah, I guess that was super. Did that thing happen, you guys? Can you help me out here? That like her big thing, right, is that she can pick up a script and just be like, and be like, all right, I got it, I memorized it. Like that's her superpower, right? And so yeah. If she did just pick up that script, read it once, and be like, I got this, then it like kind of takes away from one of the awesome characteristics of that other girl. But whatever.
She's Kisei. Kyoko's Kisei. She just sees it and she can do it.
No, I'm definitely looking to see her character develop because there's an interesting backstory there that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. Why is she so closed off to love? That's what I want to know. Yeah.
Can you just talk in that accent for the rest of the podcast, please?
I'm very excited to see her doing things for the rest of this manga. Alright, I'm done.
I feel like you made a facial expression at the end there, but I couldn't see it. So I'm just going to imagine what it is.
I just whipped my head around a lot and played with nail clippers, so really it all came together.
Oh, I didn't think...
flawlessly.
I didn't think the nail clippers were there, so that's a nice little touch.
Yeah, there you go. Just so that you feel like you're here.
If you actually want to see it, Aaron, you can... Aaron, if you actually want to see it, you can go on youtube.com/happyaaron and watch the VOD shortly after
That's
this.
true, I'll watch it. Thanks for plugging my channel for me, Lou.
Don't mention it.
Can we talk about Ren more?
Yeah, we haven't talked about Ren at all.
Yeah. What were your guys' like initial thoughts on him, and then towards the end, what were your guys' like feelings about him?
My initial reaction was like love interest right away. I was like, oh, he's gonna end up coming and like charming her, and then they're gonna go in a fight together to pull showdown. But then he just started being like really cold towards her, and then they constantly made references like, oh, they really don't like each other, even though they have like really good acting chemistry. But then it turned out she in this scene, the tea scene, that she was actually just afraid of him.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, oh, this isn't going in the direction that I want it to right now. Maybe in later chapters, but yeah.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh man, we already have one asshole character. Did we need two? Like, he was doing sort of, not, I mean, I guess like Sho was doing it behind her back, and Ren was at least doing it to her face, but I was like, oh, come on, why do they both have to be dickheads, right? But
at least he's being a dickhead to get her to better herself.
Yeah.
That's the one distinction between the two.
He's always wound up responding to things that she does in a very just blunt manner, when it seems like he's just like, you're doing this for the wrong reasons, or you're not respecting this craft, so you need to like sack up or get out of here, right? And I'm like, I get that. Like, you take it very seriously. I get that.
Bye. Yeah.
So.
Bye.
Sorry, what didn't crawled out of my lap.
When Ren was first introduced, I thought the same thing as all of you, where I was like, oh good, another jerk who's gonna eventually be a love interest. And then I also thought he was kind of like a yaoi lead, like seinen. like, you're in the wrong kind of manga.
All of the men in this manga totally look like yaoi characters.
Right?
They have the yaoi hands.
Yeah, they all have like
the whole like
the super long legs.
It could make sense, because you know how like initially when I reread the first chapters, when he appeared, I thought he was going to be one of those like playboy, like charm all the women types. But then one of his the co-stars came late, and he was just like, "You're late. Like I was waiting for you." He doesn't play it up and go like, "Oh, my lady, like,
Yeah.
oh, you look so beautiful." He's like, "You're late, and you're making me wait, and I hate that." So
Yeah, he's so sassy.
Very sassy.
I ended up really liking him just as we learned like little bits more about him. He wasn't as generic as I thought he was going to be. Like I'm still waiting for even more development from him. And I get why his character is the way it is, but I'm just waiting for to like see even more from him.
You want more?
I want more of that semi shoujo lead.
What do you guys think of the like her whole living situation right now? That she's like living with her old bosses. And has like gigantic pictures of the two men she wants to destroy on her wall.
That's totally healthy.
Oh my
the
God.
whole living situation, I really like the old guy.
Me too.
He's just such an old school hard ass.
I like him because
Yeah.
I think it kind of gives her like parent figures, because there's that one scene where she was doing the play and the girls were just like, "Oh, it must be easy to have rich parents who love you and can buy you your dream." And like immediately I think back, like those are the type of parental figures, even though they're not her actual parents, they still like support her, and they're concerned about like how she feels and where she's going in life. So yeah.
And like subtly encouraging her too. Like not like, I don't know, not coddling her at all, but still being very encouraging.
Yeah, I like that the like hard ass dude, she dyed her hair and he was like, not even acknowledging you anymore. I can't believe you've done this, right? And then she was like, I want to get into show business, and he was like, okay.
He's like, oh god.
Yeah, and then once she came to them and was like, okay, well, I didn't get into show business, I guess I better, like, screw my head back on and go out there and get a normal job. He was like, really? You're just giving up? Like, that's it? You're done? Just like, what do you
borrowed my
want?
knife for
Dad,
nothing.
what do you want?
Yeah, he's such a bad character. That's what she's in. Is she in middle school or high school? She's high school now.
She's
right?
done with middle
She's a
school, but she didn't
She's
go
like
to high school.
15 or 16, something
Yeah.
like that.
So you can see that's like kind of the same reaction a dad would give his like 15-year-old daughter who's like, "Dad, I'm gonna become a star." He's like, "Yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Why did you dye your hair? Like, why?"
But then she like dedicated herself up to a point, and he was like, no, if you're gonna do something, like, do it right? Which is also a very dad thing.
I love how her special skill is just like carving a radish into like
that's amazing.
She's so serious about it when she does it, which is amazing.
While you guys were talking about the yaoi aesthetic, I was looking through Yoshiki Nakamura, the mangaka's other works, and apparently while she hasn't done any yaoi, she's done a few titles that deal or that are gender bent as one of the main genres. Also sports, oddly enough.
Interesting.
Huh.
What?
Yeah,
Fascinating.
What?
it's called MVP wa Yuzurenai. And it's apparently rated really high on, well, not really high. I take that back. She had one manga that was actually rated really highly on my anime list for whatever it's worth as one of the gender bend ones. But she has a
MVP la wa la la la.
MVP wa Yuzurenai.
Oh, there it is. Go on.
That's all I had to contribute.
It was good. Wait, never mind.
But now we know she's done some spots manga.
She's done some
Sports and
sports.
gender bend.
Is this one?
Wait.
You said that it's still going. It's like,
Skip Beat is
Yeah,
ongoing.
Skip Beat is still going.
man,
I think it's at like 37 volumes.
is it
Something.
monthly?
Yeah, so it's like 200 something chapters so far.
Yeah, it's like 289 or something.
Man.
Are we sure this MVP is not yaoi?
It might be.
Implied, heavily
I don't know.
implied.
It's
Maybe it's one of
shoujo
the
and
gender bent
sports
ones.
as the genres. So.
Oh, I think it's gender bent. There's a little curvature of boob there.
Aw.
Okay, go on. Skip beat. Skip beat's great.
Skip beat.
Yeah.
Skip beat.
I'm
It
kind of
is
curious to
great.
see like the newer chapters and how much the art style has changed. Because I've noticed that in
Yeah.
if the series that have started back in the early 2000s, and if you look at them now, like how the art style has kind of changed a bit more.
Oh yeah, I bet that's true, huh? Man, yeah, how do you keep everything consistent when you've been drawing the same thing for that long? Like, you would eventually want to like change things a little, right? Like,
Becomes ingrained in you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man, it'd be rough. What are, like, have you guys seen or read enough of it already to not be able to do like predictions?
The anime doesn't go very far into the manga, so I could say
Really?
that much. It doesn't.
Oh.
I want to know. I just can't figure out how they're gonna get 289 chapters ongoing. Where's the story going?
I'm like, I don't know. And some people have said that it gets to be a little frustrating, unfortunately. Yeah. So I'm assuming that like romance wise, it probably does lots of like bait and switches.
Oh, gross.
My prediction would be that there's a certain point where they try to like make Sho a better person. like there's a point where Sho is like back in her life and like tries to not or wait, this would be my prediction. Is that I've got it. Is that there's a point where he's like, I can't believe I let her get away. And he gets like super obsessed with her, and she's like, you know, doing her own thing, and she's like, oh, you know what? I feel really fulfilled acting. I don't need to exact revenge anymore. And Sho's like, no, and like her attention goes this way, and suddenly his attention is on her, and then he tries to be a better person so that she wants his butt. That's gonna be my prediction.
And the whole time during that, Ren is like, no, she's mine now. And there's this whole like rivalry happening between them.
Yes.
I'm surprised you didn't try and take that the yaoi route, Aaron.
Oh God, you know.
And then they make out.
I know myself,
right? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then like the president joins in, and you're like, what is the president doing here? And then you just kind of go with it.
Yeah. And then Megane Manager Man, he joins in too.
Yeah.
It's a big old origin.
all the middle-aged men.
It's like
there.
a Congo line.
It's real good. Well, since we like lightly touched on art, how did you guys feel about the art overall?
I didn't like it.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Specifically, one thing that
so
threw me off
shoujo.
all the time. Like, see, I don't mind the shoujo art style in general terms, but something that threw me off every time I saw it was Ren's neck. It looked really long. Like, he looked like a giraffe person.
Proportions, man.
It was so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did love whenever Kyoko went like evil Super Saiyan. That shit was tight.
Dude.
Yes.
Like anytime she was in her like weird sort of like defeated form too, and her body got really wiggly and strange and like just did strange things in different panels. I loved that.
Like some of my favorite comedy moments were because of the art, like especially when like her arms suddenly grow really long when there's something she's interested in. It's
like
just
the hand coming out of her mouth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Super.
Or like the
oh
souls coming out of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like they suddenly shooting back in, or she's like grabbing them. Oh my God, it's so funny.
Yeah, that one scene where, and I don't even remember what the context was, but where like there were a bunch of demons coming out of her, and then like one little angel who was like, "Guys, we can't do this. Don't be silly!" And all of the demons just destroyed the angel, like just beat the crap out of it, and she was like, "Oh, my angel's dead. Oh well."
Too late now.
So
Too late.
good.
I like the art style, but I think that's because I've read so many shoujo series, and I like the manga that I originally got into and started reading a lot of was shoujo, so I'm pretty used to the art style now, but it's like the super huge foreheads where their bangs start like up here, and they've got like that
Yep.
super like layered choppy haircut.
Yeah.
The eyes as well, I think. I think that was really common amongst
Yeah,
like a lot of shoujo
super.
anime, that art style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I like it. It reminds me a lot of
I
the
really
first
liked.
I started reading.
Yeah, Aaron?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say like didn't like it overall, but there were definitely moments where I did enjoy it. Like when Kyoko gets more serious or somber, like the emotion that the mangaka was able to put into the eyes, I thought was really good. So I really liked
Anytime.
those moments where it just looked really pretty.
Yeah, anytime she was really happy too. Like her really sweet happy moments, because those are rare because she's on a journey of revenge. But anytime that those got to happen and there were like lots of sparkles and she was just like really happy, I was like, oh, you cutie pie. But
The
yeah,
manga had like super intense screen tones. I was looking through the pages, and that's one thing I noticed in everything, like the really intense screen tones, and I think it really adds to the emotion of the page.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
super cute.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Well,
cute.
I know, so cute. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to touch on before we went into final thoughts and ratings?
I'm good.
I'm good too.
Yeah?
Yeah, good.
Alrighty, cool. Well, if you think of a number or a color or whatever you'd like to use as your
We
gauge
can do
for...
colors.
I mean, sure. Aaron, this is your show. I don't want to hijack and say that people can just do colors now.
No,
but-
listen. I'm open to suggestions and I enjoy colors.
8 shoujo bubbles out of 10.
7 shoujo flowers.
Yep. But yeah, anybody who comes up with like their rating or their final thoughts first, go for it.
Okay, I'll go first.
Do it, Lou.
Okay, so I really like the groundwork for the story that we're getting so far. I think there's a lot of interesting room for it to grow in terms of its scale, because right now we haven't even seen her act proper, like actually go after a part that she can actually get. So I'm very interested in where it could go, and I enjoyed what I read. So I'm going to give it a 7.75 because what really set it back for me was the art, because again, it's just not something I found myself liking all that often.
Mm-hmm.
But I do expect the score to go up with the next set of readings. Specifically because I've seen the anime and I know where it goes. So yes, 7.75. It's actually one of my favorite shoujo anime. So
7.75, is that shoujo eyes or number?
that's a magenta out of purple. There we go.
Magenta out of purple. Perfect. Okay, I will give it a 7.5 shoujo bubbles out of 10. I really love the characters. I think that pretty much every major character is intriguing to me in some way. And since I did get to read a little bit ahead, I was like, oh man, new interesting stuff is happening. So it does continue to get like really cool and interesting, and especially since Lou is evangelizing the anime. I would love to watch the anime. I wasn't a huge fan of the art, but I like where the story's going, and I care enough about the characters where I'm willing to forgive some story elements where I'm like, this would never happen, right? But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it.
I would give it probably around the same, although I like the art style, so I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I like shoujo series. I love my fluffy shoujo anime series that doesn't really have a plot, but I also like my very strong, determined female characters, and I like shoujo anime that makes me feel emotional, or not anime, but series that make me feel emotional, because there were some points in the series where I was like, oh, like my heart. The point where that girl pointed out, saying that, oh, you must have rich parents that love you in order to buy your dream, when Kyoko, her backstory is that she can't go to high school and she's pretty poor. She's working like 3 jobs or something. And the other scene where she's doing the improv, and then the little girl, is her name Marie or something?
That sounds
Maria.
right.
Maria, the granddaughter,
Mm-hmm.
where she cuts in and starts. She feels as though like the dialogue in the play that talks about the girl's parents not really loving her, like she cuts in and she takes it upon herself to be like, no, my dad actually does love me. It was moments like those where I got really hooked onto it. So yeah, 8 out of 10, and I'm probably going to continue reading to see where it goes, because there's lots of potential here.
Yeah. Erin.
I'm gonna give it a 7.52 shoujo bubbles out of 10. I, like everybody else said, I completely agree with everybody. I found the characters really engaging. The art style wasn't 100% something that I really enjoyed, but I thought it was solid. But the story is really intriguing to me, especially a lot of the elements that it has been setting up with Kyoko and her backstory, and I really want to learn more about Ren. So there's just so much more that I want to learn about everybody, and so it's keeping me enticed, and I really want to keep reading more. And I thought it was really funny, and that the writing was really solid as well, and that it didn't go in directions that I thought it was going to go. I thought it'd be more romantic, and it ended up being much more about her revenge, which I really enjoyed, that little twist on the genre. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.52. I really liked it and want to read more.
Cool.
So.
Rad.
You can't see, but I gave a thumbs up.
Cool. Well, I totally forgot to prepare for it. Wait a minute. But
We're off next week.
I know. Do we wanna just talk about our end of the year plans rather than read off the synopsis for the next manga we're gonna read, since it'll be once the new year has already started? Cool.
Yeah, let's do that.
So, thanks for watching our manga pod about Skip Beat, everybody. If you would like to watch any of the other manga pods, all of the VODs are on youtube.com/happilyerin. We've done a bunch of them, so we would love it if you would check those out and continue to watch this show in the future. Next week, we're off. We won't be here because it's going to be the holidays, and we're all going to be hanging out doing holiday stuff. But the week after that, we have what we like to call Getting Crunk with That Manga Pod. And it's our end of the year party where we're going to have a bunch of our guests from throughout the year show up in like a Google Hangout or something, whatever we can make work. And I'll have drinks and laughs and play games and whatever else. So that'll be on Wednesday. Is it Wednesday for sure now?
Yeah, we're gonna do
Wednesday.
the 30th.
Cool. So that'll be on the 30th.
So if you guys want to like a little taste of what that is like, you should go watch last year's Getting Crunk with That Manga.
Last year's was so weird. It was awesome.
So weird.
We need to get Drunk Bill on there again.
Oh my god, Drunk Bill is great.
So good.
Also, Drunk Yoku was fun. Just it was fantastic.
Just drunk everybody.
Yeah, we've had so many guests this year that it might be kind of a shit show, but in a good way, because everybody's been so lovely. So yeah, if you'd like to come hang out for that, that will be on youtube.com/happilyerin, and it's gonna be super, super awesome. So yeah. We'll now shout out our stuff and then set you free. I'm Dodger. You can find me on twitch.tv/dexteritybonus or on youtube.com/presshearttocontinue. I play visual novels and dating sims and do a weekly show about the games industry. And on all the social medias, I'm at DexBonus, DEXBONUS.
Hi, I'm Erin of Happily Erin. I do anime.
That was a good voice.
It feels so weird.
Keep going, Erin. Keep going.
I do weird shit on YouTube. I also do mental health awareness, and I have social media, happily Aaron, all across the everything. I post lots of pictures of my baby. Come check me out.
Perfect.
That was the best. My name is Lou, and I'm from Lou Talks Anime. You can find me at youtube.com/Lou Talks Anime now, where I talk about weeb shit. I recently uploaded what I uploaded? Oh yeah, a random video where I talk about a lot of stuff that I finished. None of it really pertains to each other. Some of the shows I talked about were Daily Lives of High School Boys and Time of Eve.
Oh god,
Both
that
I
anime is
really
so good.
enjoyed. It's a mishmash of stuff. And yeah, you should go check it out. You can also talk to me on Twitter, twitter.com/LouTalksAnime, Instagram, LouTalksAnime, and ask.fm, LouTalksAnime. And yeah, let's talk weeb trash together. What up?
Yay!
Sachie?
I'm Sachie, and I also talk about weeb trash. I just did a video on my channel about my top 5 anime that was released in 2015, so that was fun. YouTube channel is youtube.com/Sachie, and pretty much everywhere else I'm at Sachie TV, so you can find me there. Yay! And thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
Man, you were awesome.
Oh, sugar skulls.
Also Yoku, our lovely absentee baby. You can find him
Yoku.
at
Yokurama Russian.
Yeah, youtube.com/Yokurama Russian. youtube.com/Yokurama Game Talk, where he doesn't talk about games. And what is his Twitter handle? Yokurama Talks?
Yeah.
Yokurama Talks, yep.
Go tell him that he missed out on a great show. And that you
Yeah.
missed him.
Yeah.
Yay!
You also missed out on
Yeah.
an asshole show. That guy's a dick.
Boo! Boo! But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching MangaPod. We do this every Tuesday, and we are going to be we haven't put up the schedule for the new year yet, right?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
So
But it will be up in the next week.
cool. Keep an eye on reddit.com/r/mangapod. That's where we always post our schedules. And we'll see you on Getting Crunk with the MangaPod. Have a great holiday, guys. Thank you all so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.